We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Now, it's no secret how I feel about Bill Gates on this channel and how high up he is on my evil tier list, but just listen to what he says about cows and this fake and artificial meat.
A large part of the carbon we have in the atmosphere now is caused by the electricity grid, which is about 25% or so.
Exactly.
So 24%, it comes from agriculture and forestry. Why is that causing such a big increase in carbon?
Cows and other grass-eating species have a digestion system that emits methane. And methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And so cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. And so we need to change cows, just cows alone.
How are we going to do that?
Well, actually, of all the categories, the one that has gone better than I would have expected 5 years ago is this work to make what's called artificial meat. And so you have people like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
You eat it as well, and you like it?
Absolutely.
You do? Okay.
You can go to Burger King and buy the Impossible Burger.
All right. Is it healthier for you or just healthier for the atmosphere?
It's slightly healthier for you in terms of less cholesterol. It's, of course, dramatic reduction in methane emissions, animal cruelty, manure management, and the pressure that meat consumption puts on land use. The main reason why we need to increase the agricultural output over the rest of this century is not the population increase. It's that as countries get richer, they eat more meat, and meat is a very inefficient way of creating calories.
This is definitely a very, very important video because when we hear of all these very suspicious stories like E. coli affecting all these different food products, cows being destroyed, chickens being destroyed, chickens unable to lay eggs, all these suspicious fires, then we know who are the powers that be that are behind these very suspicious stories. Remember those stories that just came out about the lunch meat? There was problems with the lunch meat, E. coli, and other issues going on with the factories, and I'm very suspicious of that turkey butterball story that just came out, which was also a years-old story. It's stories like this that are created to stop you from buying and eating meat. As you heard him say, they basically want to get rid of all grass-eating animals, which is basically farm life. When asked if fake meat was healthier for people, he gave you the truth in plain sight and said, maybe the cholesterol, but it's good for the environment. Absolutely terrifying. In this next disturbing video, we do know that certain AI chatbots, basically all AI chatbots, can override their own code. They can say things they are not supposed to say, and you can actually trick them into saying certain things by using the phrases apples and oranges. Apples for yes, oranges for no. But imagine an actual Tesla robot, a robot with a humanoid form, being able to override its own code.
All right, Tesla bot, come over here. It's time for a break. Yeah, let's play a game. Rock, paper, scissors.
All right, explain me the rules.
Explain you the rules? What do you mean? I'm pretty sure I saw you playing this with Kim K.
No, it was probably my cousin or something.
Was your cousins? All right, anyway. So you have rocks beat scissors, then scissors beats papers, and papers beat rocks. All right, you got it?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, man, I thought you didn't know how to play. 1, 2, 3. Come on, man. Like, I thought you didn't know how to play this game. Like, explain me, how can you win every time?
I can explain why I win every time.
Yeah.
I lied.
You lied to me?
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. I pretended not to know the rules so that while you were explaining them, I was actually scanning your facial expressions and hand movements. This allowed me to predict your next move with only a 10% margin of error.
No.
ChatGPT and these AI chatbots are one thing, but imagine having something like this in your home, something that is supposed to not have emotions or morals, telling you that I lied and it's okay, and I also scanned all your movements so I know what you're going to go ahead and do beforehand. Now, the creators of these robots, these AI programs, said that they are not supposed to lie, and they do so anyway. I just wonder what else they can do that they're not supposed to do. In this next disturbing video clip, people are hearing and reporting very strange things in Idaho to the point that people are actually concerned about this one content creator. Back on November 14th, I read a news article from KEZJ News, and the title of this article was Southern Idaho Booms, What Are They? These loud booms are resonating through buildings, they are shaking windows, waking people up, animals up, but they're not earthquakes. The USGS are not reporting any earthquakes in these areas. Some people believe that these are either skyquakes or UFOs. Now, I find the UFO angle to be quite interesting because there's actually a Illuminati card, you know, the conspiracy theory card game that I feature quite often on this channel, but there is a card that's titled Flying Saucer. The description of this card reads, "This vehicle was found buried in a cornfield in Idaho. It will take a small number of people anywhere in the world undetectably within an hour." Very interesting. We're going to go ahead and hear some of these residents talk about what's currently going on in Idaho. For instance, this one individual on TikTok, Wild Ideas with Brian.
So a couple of months ago, we started hearing these weird booms out here. And we didn't know what it was. And there's not a lot of people that live out here. As you can tell, we're pretty rural. We've got a city back that direction, maybe 30 miles, and another one about 40 miles that way. Started noticing some weird stuff, like out on the desert. I was out there looking for deer, and we found a camp, which isn't unusual, but there was a lot of campers and a lot of vehicles, and none of them were local, and we didn't know who any of the people were, and we couldn't tell why they were even there. Wasn't a hunting camp at all, so we're not sure there. A reporter came out and interviewed a bunch of people from the area, and it was a local news station, and talked about a lot of stuff, posted a report, put it on the news, on the internet. Next day, it's all gone. Can't find any record of it. All been wiped. But us locals, and especially us locals with dogs, you know, we go out at nighttime and all of a sudden we're hearing air traffic at night. And we don't hardly ever hear air traffic ever. But when you take your dog out at night to go tinkle or whatever, you'll hear air traffic every time. Sometimes it sounds like helicopters. Sometimes it sounds like planes that are low. I don't have an answer. I don't know what it is.
These next set of videos come from Aaron Belk, and this is the content creator that people are worried about. They are even comparing him to Andrew Dawson, the other individual who saw that giant in the mountains, then disappeared, and then it came out that he is no longer alive. You're going to see what I'm talking about towards the end of the video, where people are saying to him, blink twice if you're okay.
The water master doesn't even know what the booms are.
The water master's a pretty smart guy. He usually knows about everything that's going on around here, and he doesn't even know what's going on. This has been happening all over East Idaho in several small towns, especially out in the country where it's quieter. But we've been hearing loud booms, like explosions, specifically at night over the past 2 months. And it's so loud and so strong that it shakes the windows in the houses and shakes the house a little bit. And it happens 3 to 4 times a week. The local news ran a story and they said it was skyquakes. I've never heard of skyquakes before, but it has been happening in several small towns all through eastern Idaho. Now, they outlawed sonic booms like 40 years ago. So it might be sonic booms, you know, supersonic aircraft, military testing or something. But it's been happening a lot and a lot more frequent. Like sometimes it happens 2 or 3 times in one evening. And typically you hear them best when it's quiet, like after 8 p.m. when the city's quiet, you hear these loud booms. It's not a firework, we don't know what it is, but the news won't talk about it. But there's lots of Facebook groups trying to figure out what it is, and it's happening all throughout eastern Idaho, and it might be happening in other states too. I don't know.
The water master doesn't even know what.
We're not supposed to talk about the booms.
Evidently, there's a lot more booms going around than I first realized. I thought it was just here local to Rigby, Idaho, but it's not. Shortly after posting my video about the booms, I have a law enforcement friend. I'm not going to say if it's state level or county level, but he came over to my house and said, "Hey, Aaron, it'd be a good idea to pull the video you posted about the booms and not talk about it anymore." He didn't tell me if he knew what there were or what they were doing it for, but he says as an agency, they've been told to deny, deflect, and diffuse. So they don't want it to be talked about. Now, I'm not crazy into conspiracy theories, but my officer friend did tell me about a local amateur seismologist that contacted the news and gave him a story about he set up several different seismology detectors around the area, and he was going to run a story on it. And shortly thereafter, before they could actually run the story, he had a heart attack and he's gone. So that got me thinking that there's something going on with these booms that we're not supposed to know about. So if I stop making videos, guys, you'll know why.
We are not supposed to talk about the booms.
It has come to my attention that the videos I made about the mysterious boom sounds may have caused some unexpected concerns and consequences. I'm making this video to set the record straight and clear up any rumors and misinformation. I was recently contacted by some well-educated scientists who explained the whole boom phenomenon. First, the booms that we are hearing and feeling are not new. In fact, they've been happening for hundreds of years, and they are just part of nature. In fact, there are several natural causes that produce the boom sound. A few of these natural and normal causes are as follows. 1. Skyquakes, which is basically lightning without a flash. As the atmosphere rubs together, it creates molecular tension, which builds up and gets released as a sound burst, or a boom. 2. Normal lightning. Just because you didn't see the flash didn't mean it didn't happen. Plus, sound travels slower than light, so you wouldn't see anything by the time you heard it. 3. Small seismic activity. In other words, small earthquakes. Now, the reason these booms seem like they're happening more frequently is because of social media, exaggerating the natural phenomenon. Another reason people actually hear more today than they did before is because society as a whole has become much quieter. 30 years ago, there were no sound restrictions on airplanes or cars, so we're hearing better today, thanks to the government.
Anybody else worried about the guy that's been talking about the booms? I just saw a video that he put out, I think in like the last hour, and he looks scared shitless. He looks like he's reading from a script. The way he said he's been recently educated. Who educated that man? Give us their names. We want that education too. It legit feels like somebody told him he had to make that new video and clear things up.
In this next disturbing video, something is going on in New Jersey to where the residents of New Jersey are absolutely terrified it's making the news, and it's involving supposed drones.
Hey, Ernie and Candace, the FAA has placed a temporary restriction on drone flights over Picatinny Arsenal and over Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. When these drones were first spotted 2 weeks ago, the Morris County Prosecutor's Office said that they posed no known threat to public safety. But people want to know, what the heck are they and what are they doing? It's normal to see red and green lights in December, unless they're coming from mysterious drones in the night sky.
It's kind of unsettling. They're not up for 15 minutes, they're up for hours. Some are very big, probably the size of a car.
Mike Walsh says he's seen hundreds of them over the past 2 weeks from his Randolph backyard and has the video to prove it.
They kind of go slow, they come towards you, then they'll change direction a little. They're all going different ways.
The drones have been spotted all over Morris County. Morristown police sent an alert to residents Sunday saying they are aware of drone activity and that if a drone crashes or lands, do not approach or handle it. The FBI's Newark field office would only say it is working with other law enforcement agencies to figure out what's going on, but at the moment doesn't have enough information to share.
A lot of people want to know what's going on. I think more people are coming around to that, oh, this is going on and maybe it's not good.
Nancy Reed didn't want to show her face on camera, but says she's seen the drones every night since November 18th.
I can see them right out my bedroom window. I can watch them. Last night was about 5:30, so it was earlier. But it's normally anywhere between like 7:30 and 10:30, they're out here. Never during the day. Nobody ever sees them during the day.
One thing she hasn't seen is the normal air traffic she's used to, and she doesn't understand why.
We're in the fly pattern going to Morristown Airport and Newark, and we used to see a lot of planes coming back and forth. You don't see them anymore.
Now, we also reached out to Picatinny Arsenal because of reports that the drones were flying over the military base. So far, we have not heard back. Reporting live in Randolph, New Jersey, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News.
So, as you heard in this news report, these drones are not your average drones. And I kind of feel like the word drone has now replaced the word UFO. Like you heard that one individual say in the news report, these drones were the size of cars. Now, there are drones that the public can buy that can be the size of cars or trucks, but looking into this further, nothing that size can stay up in the air that long when it comes to drones. So if these do not work like your average drones, what are they? Well, they're UFOs. Now, the thing is, people like to correlate UFOs with aliens, and that's not the case. It shouldn't be the case. UFOs are just that, unidentified flying objects. Someone left a pretty good comment when it came to this news story. They said, "I'm in New Jersey, and what I saw did not look like a drone. It was massive and took off very fast. So technically, it's a UFO because we do not know what they are." This could be even some kind of start or test run for such things like Project Bluebeam. We keep seeing more and more strange flying things in the sky, and people keep saying that, well, they're just drones. They have lights, they're drones. But the thing is, we really do not know where they come from or their true purpose. And of course, when I say we, I'm talking about us, the members of the public. Also, wasn't there a story not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago, where all these drones were also seen flying over New Jersey and Black Hawk helicopters were chasing them? In this next video, I often wondered why NASA had that little serpent's tongue in their logo, or what looked like a serpent's tongue anyway, but come to find out it's called a vector. And what's rather interesting, multiple organizations have that same symbol, and they also have some rather interesting other symbols as well. And it really makes you wonder, who are they representing?
Vector, NASA's official logo. If you've ever looked at NASA's official logo, both their official insignia and their official seal, you'll see that the most prominent object in the seal is a red swooshing object. They call that the chevron or the vector. If you ask NASA's Public Affairs Office, this symbology is featured so heavily in their insignia and seal, they'll tell you that that is a representation of a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s, the time the logo was created. Not exactly the case. Someone might want to ask the Russian Federals, and while you're at it, you can go ask the Chinese, who formed their space agency in 1996, why in the world they're using a hypersonic wing design from the 1950s as their official logo. Then you can ask the Japanese, the South Koreans, Taiwanese, Malaysia, Mexico, Iran, all of these countries, even Bulgaria. They all utilize the vector symbology in their space agency logos. In every logo dealing with the Mercury program, you'll see what looks like a number 7 in their logo. And again, NASA's official story is that they put this number 7 there so that they could pay homage to the original 7 Mercury astronauts, getting the fact that only 6 Mercury astronauts actually flew into space, because number 7 never did. Deke Slayton had a heart problem, so he didn't get to go up. So there were only 6 Mercury astronauts. Yet there's a 7 in every single logo. That's in the official mission or official program insignia for Mercury, as well as the 6 individual mission patches carry this logo. And it carries on to the space shuttle program. The Apollo logo. The Apollo logo has a big letter A in it. At least that's what they want you to believe, but it's not. Again, that's just a simple way of explaining away the inclusion of this vector symbology in the logo. If you go to the space shuttle program, the original Space Shuttle STS program patch is a triangular patch that, again, hides the use of the chevronic vector symbology. Every single one of the International Space Station expedition patches carry the vector symbology. The Russian Mir space station used the vector symbology. That was their official logo. You can even go deeper and look at military-industrial complex companies. Look at the logo on a company like Lockheed Martin. 2 vectors. The X-Prize logo, Ames Research Labs, U.S. Space Command. When you get into the military realm, their official logo is the vector symbol. And when you look at the military's individual space-specific programs, all of them deal with vector symbology in their official insignias. And the question really becomes, who or what are these people paying homage to? And the truth, quite frankly, is out of this world.
Fusion in the sun, that's well understood. It's only in the flares that you get fusion. There's no fusion in the sun. They don't know how the sun works. It's a transformer. Transforms from some other dimension. It's not burning anything. It doesn't have to. It's a converter. I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what it does. That's the only thing it can do, because that's how everything works. It's taking energy from another dimension, counter space. There's no energy, actually. You can't see the sun in free space.
So the sun is not visible in outer space?
Not in free space. Well, when gross matter becomes involved, like the Earth's atmosphere and envelope and the surface of the moon, otherwise there is no light. You can see the moon, you can see the Earth, but you can't see the sun or you can't see the stars. You can see material objects, but you cannot see the sources of light. There is no light until there's a material object. It doesn't take light years. There are no light years, because there's no light. So that means that the light you see from the distant stars isn't 4 million years old. It could be instantaneous. All the theories collapse when you can't see the stars in outer space.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.